Good morning, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I'm here with this very magical, beautiful witch's finger crystal. So I have a lot to say about the witch's fingers in and of themselves, but I am here to talk about this particular one, and it's quite big. I wanted to pick it up to show you, but it's just too heavy for me to hold. But you can get an idea of how big it is. And I hope you can get an idea of how sparkly it is. So before I get ahead of myself, let me introduce myself. I am a crystal whisperer, co-creator of Song of Stones, and I listen to the songs of the stone beings and I share their messages out, and I help people to connect with the stones that are singing for them. And today I want to talk about this witch's finger angel crystal. Witch's angel is what I was told by this crystal. And she's been around for quite a long time. She's quite a powerful presence. And last weekend, while I was doing my Qigong movement, I just kept getting distracted by her. I do my Qigong in the crystal room, and that's sometimes, often, very distracting. The crystals really have been calling my attention lately, but specifically this one was singing to me last weekend, and finally I noticed what it was she was trying to get my attention for, and that was an angel presence. I saw so clearly this image of this gorgeous angel. And once I saw that, the insistence of this crystal calling my attention kind of settled a little bit. It wasn't as intense. And that's what happens sometimes when the crystals are getting your attention. It's like there's something about them that you can't take your eyes off them until you see what it is they're showing you. And then there's almost like an exhale. It's like, okay, I can breathe now. I can relax. I can not be so pulled to looking at this stone. And so it's funny that this wasn't the only one that was calling my attention. There was another one, and I'll show you at some point. I'll show the other one to you as well. And there are others. But their song was about protection. And protection is a big subject. It's one that I'm going to be focusing on in the next little while. Because, and protection is something that is important to all humans, regardless of their beliefs or their even regardless of who they are and what they do. The subject of protection, the desire for protection is quite strong in us. And that's because there's a lot in this world that scares us. There's a lot of fear. And protection is our first response and our first desire when we are feeling fearful. We want protection. We want to protect ourselves. And in spiritual circles, we talk a lot about protecting our energy and the unseen aspects of our being, as well as the physical parts, because energy can affect us on every level, physically, emotionally, mentally, everywhere. We can feel the effects of toxic energies. And as spiritual beings, and most of us, I don't want to say most of us, I'm sure there are many who are watching this who are healers. Even if it's not something that you do as your, for a living, the sensitive souls that, okay, let me put it this way. Even if you don't heal for a living, you probably are healing people on a daily basis in some way or another. It's a natural thing, especially for women, especially for sensitive souls, especially for light workers. It's just who we are. And when we do that, we open ourselves up, and we're dealing with dissonant energies, and we want to protect ourselves so that we can maintain our strength and our well-being. So there are many ways to go about protecting ourselves. Crystals offer a lot of protection for light workers. And you know what? Let me just start by saying this. Let me say this about protection. Let's just talk about what it is. A lot of times when we talk about protection in spiritual terms, we tend to think about, putting up shields and putting ourselves in bubbles and using light and color to really to shield ourselves, so that whatever toxic energies or dissonant energies that we are working with don't penetrate. And we do this with our homes and with our sacred spaces and with our circles. We create protection, and but there's another way of looking at protection. There's the way of looking at protection as a shield, as keeping things out of our bubble, out of our personal space, out of our bodies. And then there's another way, and I'm going to start by saying there's no right or wrong to this. It's just different perspectives, different approaches. So the other way is to become completely open and transparent and letting whatever it is go right through us. So there's the shield, and then there's the complete opposite of that, where we're completely. I looked up this word earlier because I was trying to figure out how to describe something that's the opposite of solid. And the word I came up with was diaphanous. It's a lovely word, diaphanous. And basically what it is just being completely transparent isn't really enough. It's like the opposite of being solid. It's letting things pass right through you. So they don't stick, they don't hold, they just go through. And the thing about that is when you can get to that state, it takes a lot less energy to maintain. The shields are helpful, and the bubbles protect us, but they take energy. It takes energy to put them up. It takes energy to keep them up. It takes energy to set up the whole thing. It takes energy, and sometimes that energy can drain us. Maybe even as much as what we're protecting ourselves against, depending on what we're talking about. So I want to introduce this other option when we talk about protection, is to get to a point where we are so open, and that might not be the right way to describe it, but it's, we do the best we can with words, right? It's sometimes helpful to remember that most times we're all trying to say the same things. So I just wanted to take that time to really delve into protection and the different ways we can protect ourselves, and the option of really just letting down all the shields and allowing things to just pass right through us. And it takes the least amount of our energy to do. But we do have to, when we're doing that, have to be without fear. Because if we're holding fear while we're trying to be open to letting things go through us, we're going to feel the effects of that. We're going to feel that dissonant energy. So, the crystals, one beautiful thing about there's so many, right? One of the beautiful things about crystals is that they can help us either way. They can help us put up shields and bubbles and golden light and rainbows. They're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guides for protection. And they can also help us let go of our fears and become diaphanous. So wherever you are in in your path, they'll help you. And again, it's not about right or wrong or higher or lower, better or worse. It's just about a different experience. And I think I think we really need to see that too with protection, is that there's many different ways of going about it, and there's no right or wrong, because I think there's fear even around the idea of protection. How can I protect myself? What's the best way to protect myself? And then the whole idea of protection becomes another point of fear. And then you need more protection. So that's what I was called to talk to you about this morning with this beautiful very large witch's finger. And while I'm showing her to you, I have been showing her to you through pictures, but while I am showing her to you on video, I also wanted to show you this piece of her, which came apart. But I think what I'm hearing about that is that when you're working with such a big crystal, you can't carry her around. You can't take her with you if you're going out and you're going about your business. So sometimes crystals will give you pieces of themselves so that you can, one for home and one to carry with you, one for your purse and one for your nightstand or your altar. And I remember learning about this from a crystal healer many years ago, and I just loved it. I just love that, you can hold on to the energy and take it with you when you need to. You don't need to, really. If you have a big piece and you want to connect with its energy, you can anytime through your intention and through your imagination and through your heart. It doesn't matter if you're in the same room or on the other side of the world. There's no distance or there's no space and time in the crystal world. They are magical that way. But I did want to mention it because, sometimes we do want to feel that tactile sensation of having the crystal in our hands. It helps, especially when we're new to crystals, but even not, like even when you've had years and years of experience with the stone beings. I know there are times where I can just think of a crystal and I feel the energy go through me. But then there are other times I want to have the crystal in my hand. I just want to feel that energy close to me, like physically in my hands. And again, I want to emphasize there's no right or wrong. And each of us are different, and each of us experience the world in different ways. And we need to be kind and gentle to ourselves and trust ourselves for how that experience happens. We're not going to be like everybody else. And I know that sometimes we want to get answers. We want to know. We want to be told by somebody who knows. But truthfully, the only one who knows you is you. So trust that above all else. And that's not to say that you shouldn't get advice from people who you trust and who you resonate with. But in the end, trust yourself. That's always, always, always my advice. In the end, trust yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this beautiful being. And her energy. She's really magical. When I was holding her to receive the crystal moon message, and I don't know if you guys have not received the crystal moon message, it was a beautiful one. I send them out every other week under the energies of the new and full moon. There's a message from a crystal that goes out. And then on the other days, we do other things like card pull, or there's always something magical going out, and we send that out once a week. And if you want to receive that, you can sign up on the website or through Instagram or Facebook. But what I wanted to say was that when I was holding her to receive the crystal moon message, you could see she's quite dark and opaque. But I started to notice that she started to lighten, and she's doing it right now. Hope you see that. Yeah, she really is. Wow. So, some crystals will do that. Usually what happens is, like, I see crystals get deeper in tone when you hold them. Like rhodochrosite and ruby are brilliant at that. Ahoite does that. But this one was doing the opposite. She was getting lighter and lighter. And, I just realized, I think she was kind of demonstrating that whole protection thing, the polarities of protection. She did talk about the polarities of magic, but now I'm starting to get that she is showing us right now the polarities of protection, where you can become solid and shielded, or you can just start to become light, pure light, and let things go right through you, completely translucent and transparent, and my new favorite word, diaphanous. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I hope you enjoy the energy of this beautiful being, and be in touch in the comments, in the social media chats, and always feel free to get in touch with me through my contact form on my website, songofstones.com. And I will see you next time with more crystals of protection. There's a lot of them starting to show up. They're coming out of the woodwork. So there will be more. We will be back. Many blessings. Lots of love.